Okay, good day everyone. So welcome back to our subject accounting 1. So our topic for today is about adjusting entries. So specifically, we will discuss the problems I have assigned to you last meeting. So we have here 7-4. Okay, in 7-4, it was just a simple problem. The pro forma entry whenever you have an accrual adjusting entry problem. So we have here the Guevara Realty Company who owns a building. So this is the lessor. The one who lets you rent the building. And it was rented by Metro Drug Company sometime last year. So we have here the lease contracts is agreed to be paid every second day after the end of every month. And it was done in a consistent basis. Then fiscal year will end on June 30 and payment of the rental will be made beyond this date. So there is an overlapping of accounting periods because it ends on June 30. So every month, the whole year, so ang December, so overlap of the first year and the second year. So how will you record that one in the books of Guevara? And in the books of Metro Drug. So when you speak of accruals, there are two kinds, accrued income and accrued expense. So when you talk about accrued income, take note, accruals doesn't talk about when you have received the money or when you have paid the money, but it is more on when that income is really earned and when that expense is really incurred. So as what I've said in the previous meetings, you would say that you have earned the income if you have already did your part, regardless if gibayaran ka or wala. It will be called as an expense if you have already used that as an expense. Like for example, kuryente. Do not expect that for the month of September, you will also pay your electricity in the month of September. Dili, next month pa na bayaran. But that is already your expense. Why? Gigamit naman nimo ang kuryente. So, accruals does not mind when you have paid or received the money. Unlike in deferrals, regardless of when na-earn, when na-incur, basta kay makadawat kag kwarta, that is already your income. Makabayad ka, that is already your expense. So they are of total opposite. So since this talks about rental, in the eyes of Guevara, so he would record that one as its income na niya. Bahala when nadawat, basta kay nagpaabang na siya, that is his accrued rent receivable. Since this is yet a pro forma journal entry, so pro forma meaning format lang, wala pa'y amounts. So you would use XXX. Some books would use only 2x, but I prefer to use 3x. So that is also his income, rent income. Well, on the part of Metro Drug, so mo-adjust lang ko aniha kay medyo nadako ang ako ang agi. So this will already be recorded as an expense. Expense na niya. Take note that in accruals, you forgot or you have omitted recording the transactions. That's why, anong you forgot man, kay you did not yet record it, kay wala pa man kabayri. O pa kakadawat og income. So there is an omission of an entry. That's why we used accrued rent expense. So you recorded an expense because you have to establish that you really have an expense. But since wala pa kag-record kay you were waiting when ka mabayaran, when ka mo bayad, so wala pa kag-record ani nga transaction. But the proper recording, the accrual basis is regardless if it's paid or not, you must record them. So mao ni ang iyang presentation. So for Guevara, ang nagpaabang, that is accrued rent receivable, then i-record na niya as income, bahalag wa siya bayri. For Metro Drug, ang nagpaabang, ibayaran man siya, nibayad man siya or wala, so that is already his rent expense, then record siya accrued rent expense. So that is for 7-4. So for 7-5, so for 7-5, it talks about deferrals. So again, deferrals are of two kinds. We have pre-collection of income and prepayment of expense. So if we have pre-collection of income, we have two methods. Now, why is there a need to know the two methods? Because it depends on what method you would use. You would know what account title you will use for the original journal entry and for your adjusting entry. So if that is a pre-collection of income, that is either an income account or a liability account. While if that is prepayment of expense, so your two methods would be expense method or the asset method. But both account titles will be shown. Kaya ang original entry, you would know what method you use based on the account title you used in the original entry. Take note ha, original. So let's try to have 7-5. So it talks about expense, so prepayment of expense. So in the first situation, it is assumed to use expense method. So we have here, the account period is August 1, 20A until August 1, 20B. So there is an overlapping because the accounting period ends on December 31, 20A. So why is there an overlapping? So let's make a timeline. You started your business August 1, 20A, and it ended your insurance 20B. But your accounting period is, it would end December 31 of every year. So in this case, 20A. Meaning, for the first accounting period, you have here August 1 to December 31. We also have January 1, 20B until August 1, 20B. What is the importance? By December 31, 2028, take note, we're talking about insurance here. So for this period, this is our expense portion, while this period is our asset portion. What would happen, Manggod, is you would record them binulto. You paid the whole 24,000. So kani siya That's for the whole 24,000. But it's not solely for an expense or it's not solely for an asset. So, we have to divide that one. So, how will you divide that one? You must know pila ka buwan ang asset o ang expense. So, how would you know? O, August 1 to December 31. So, you count whole month of August. So, August 1 to August 31. Then, September 1 to September 30. So, that's 2 months. October 1 to October 31, 3 months. November 1 to November 30, 4 months. December 1 to December 31. That is a total of 5 months. While, January 1, take note ha. So, December 31 na. So, kani, January 1 na 20B. January 1, whole month of January 1, to 30. Feb 1 to 28. March 1 to March 30. March, April 1 to this is 31. This is 31. 30, April 1, April, May, June, July, then August 1. So, August 1, ako tama, why? Take note, we ended August 1. So, you could not say whole month of August, not until August 31. So, pila man na ka months? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So, there are 7 months. So, meaning, 5 months plus 7 months is a total of 12 months. I-double check yun na nimo. So, asset is good for pila ka months? 7 months. That is for the year 20B, while the expense is good for 5 months. So, bahinon na to ang 24,000. So, how will you split it up? So, first, get the monthly. So, monthly insurance. So, how will you compute that? Simply, that is 24,000 divided by how many months? 12 months in 1 year. So, you have 2,000 per month. So, how much will be the asset portion? 7 months times pila may monthly? 2,000. And 5 months times 2,000 pesos. So, 7 times 2, that is total of 14,000 for your asset. While 5 months times 2, that is 10,000. So, how would you answer the question? So, basically, this solution would already suffice for your 2 situations, expense and asset method. The important lang is you have a solution and you'll be able to answer the requirements. So, first requirement, what is the journal entry to record the prepayment? Take note, we are using expense method. So, original journal entry or the journal entry, so record the prepayment man daw. Expense method, so record it as insurance expense for the whole amount of 24,000. Take note, original entry pa na siya. Credit, bayad ka, cash, $24,000. Number 2. In your adjusting, take note, the question is adjusting entry. What account will you record? Take note that we are using expense method. How would you know it's an expense method? Look at the original journal entry. This is the original journal entry. So, how would you reflect? Diba 24,000, bahino na nato. Unsaong pagbahin? Na ay 14,000 para sa asset, na 10,000 sa expense. So, how would you lower the amount? So, kuhaan na to. Kuhaan na to si insurance expense. For a while. Okay. This is for number 3. Let's leave space for number 2. So, here, number 3. So, unsaon na to para ma-split? We need to lessen the insurance expense. So, credit niha. And, you must put up an asset account. So, meaning, the answer in number 2 is asset. So, this should be prepaid insurance. The question is, how much? So, our goal here is to put up the asset portion. So, pila man tong atong asset kaniha sa atong computation? Asset is 14,000. So, 14,000 ang imuhang asset. At the same time, that is also the total amount of your expense that we need to lessen. Ano man? Let's try to make a T account. Insurance expense. Originally, we have 24,000. Ang goal daw nato, ang insurance expense is only good for 10,000, di ba? Good for 5 months. So, how would you make from 24 to 10? So, naka-i-minus nga 14,000. What is this 14,000? This is your asset. That's why we recorded prepaid insurance for 14,000. Then, kuhaan na to insurance expense of 14,000 to reflect the 10,000. Number 4. What is, in your adjusting entry, are you increasing or decreasing the amount of your insurance expense? If it is expense method, then you have to split it with asset. Of course, our goal here is to, what happened? Diba? From 24, dapat mahimong 10. So, we are decreasing the amount of our expense because we are transferring the 14,000 to the asset. Ato ang gi-split, ato ang gibuwag. So, this is for the expense method, Aritas Picas. How about asset method? How would you record if it's an asset? So, instead of using insurance expense, you would use prepaid insurance. That is 24,000. Then, you paid it with cash, 24,000. Number 2. In your adjusting entry, although this is an asset method, what account will you record in your adjusting? So, this is the journal entry. This is the adjusting journal entry. So, we have already recorded the asset. So, if you are asked which account will you use in the adjusting journal entry, now, you will use the expense. Opposite na siya. Number 3, going back. What is our adjusting entry? Let's go back to our solution. Naka-record na tag-asset. Nana naman ni siya. So, na-record na ang iyahang asset. But we need to split it up. Ang 24,000, only 14 is for the asset. That's why we recorded in number 2 an expense. Kay ato ang i-open ang expense account. So if mag-open tag expense account, so we should have insurance expense. No. Pila man ang ato ang expense? Look at our solution. That is 10,000. And it's also the same amount that we would deduct from our prepaid insurance. Because our prepaid insurance, our asset account is overstated, nanubra og 10,000. Because this 10,000 is for our expense. Number 4, are you increasing or decreasing your prepaid insurance? So what we are doing is we are decreasing. Again, it's overstated. Pilay overstatement. Our overstatement is good for 10,000 because this 10,000 supposedly is for the expense. This one. So see the difference? Let's try. Here. So this is the expense method. And this is the asset method. So if you have noticed, the original journal entry in expense method, you will use the expense account. In the asset method, you will use the asset account. So if the question is in preparing the adjusting journal entry, what account will you use? Opposite. So if you have used the expense method, when you would make the adjusting journal entry, you'll prepare the asset. If you have used the asset method, in preparing the journal and adjusting journal entry, you'll use the expense account. And both effects will have a decreased amount on the original journal entry. So that is for 7-5. So let's have 7-6. Sorry, tas kilit. So for 7-6, we have here the problem of Nestor Alegre, wherein he has insured his truck and building. So insurance gyapon. But take note, we have different date of coverage. So we have here June 1, 20A and until June 1, 20B, 12,000. So building. We also have the truck. So we need to have unsa man ni siya, expense and asset. So expense and asset. The truck also have an expense and asset portion. So the expense portion for the building is June 1 until December 31, 20A. Ang asset portion is January 1 until June 1, 20B. For the truck, the expense portion is October 1 until December 31, 20A meaning the first year. Then asset is January 1, 20B until October 1, 20B. So pila maning building? That is 12,000 and 6,000. So how many months is the expense portion sa building? This is June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So 7 months. Ang asset, January, February, March, April, May. May rataman because this is June 1 month. So that is 5 months. How about the truck? October, November, December. So 3 months. Then January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So September tataman because the last date is October 1. So 9 months. So pila may monthly. So building monthly insurance that was 12,000 divided by 12, that is 1,000. So your answers must be double ruled. And truck monthly insurance, pila to'y amount? That was 6,000 divided by 12. So 500 ba na? Yep, it's 500. So at least we know pila ang per month. So we could already answer number 1. So for number 1, how much is the expired portion of the insurance premium on December 31? So let's get the expense. So building is for 7 months, truck is 3, so 7,3. So number 1, building, it is 7 months times 1,000. That is equal to 7,000. Truck is good for 3 months times 500. So that is a total of 1,500. So your total expired portion is 8,500. Bakto ba? 7 and 3. Now, expense portion is 7 and 3. That was 1,500. Okay? So that is for number 1. So at what amount will be the prepaid insurance or unexpired insurance show? So you could have 2 solutions there. So first solution. So building truck total amount paid was 12,000 and 6,000. It's a total of 18,000. Less expired portion so pila to sa building That's 7,015. 7,000 truck 15. So 18,000 minus 85, you have 9,500. So total. Or another solution, building and truck has the expired portions of pila ka months. Let's look at here. The asset portion is 5 and 9. 5 months, 9 months, times pila may monthly is 1,500. So this should be 5,000. 9 times 500 is equal to 4,500. So you still have 9,500. Total prepaid insurance. So in accounting, so long as you understand the question, you understand the process, you could have a lot of solution. So what we did in the first solution is we total all the expense nga nabayran, 18,000, then gi-minus ang atong answer sa number 1 kay moment to expense portion. Or simply, we have already computed the pila ka months ang asset portion, i-multiply sa monthly, so you will get the answer. Number 3. It's a question. Assuming that the insurance of building was paid on May 28, what is the adjusting entry? So, May 28 ahead of the insurance coverage. Okay lang na. So, it's still considered June 1 sa undergrad because, or sa accounting 1 because we do not compute it by days yet. But when you would reach higher accounting, so muna nang magkwenta tag pila ka days in a month. Anyway, so ang original entry, so original journal entry, we used the asset method. So, prepaid insurance of the building. So, take note, we're only talking about the building. So, that is 12,000 credit cash. 12,000. So, June. What is the adjusting entry daw? Naka-record naman tag insurance, nga asset. So, we need to record the expense. So, what we would do is, pila ka months ang building, 7 ang expense. So, 7 times 1,000. So, we need to record the insurance expense. Seven times 1,000 is 7,000. Then, kuhaan nato si prepaid insurance. For how much? 7,000 po. So, if you will make the T account, the prepaid insurance, so, naka-debit kag 12,000. Our goal here is to have 5,000. So, how much is the expense portion? Kuhaan na to 7,000. This is just to check whether your solution is correct. You could always use the T account. So, this is your adjusting entry. How about number 4? Expense method, original journal entry sa track na punta. So sa track, your journal entry, expense method, so this is insurance expense. That's a total of 6,000. Credit cash. $6,000. So what is our adjusting journal entry? Pila ka months man gani ni? Let's go back to our solution. So asset is 9, expense is 3. So we must record the asset portion. Prepaid insurance. Insurance expense. Asset is 9. So 9 times 500. So that is 4,500. So, kuhaan na to si insurance expense of 4,500. So, if you want to double check sa T account, if you have recorded prepaid insurance, expense method expense method. So, insurance expense, if you have recorded 6,000, our goal should show 3 months. So, 3 times 500, that should be 1,500. So, pila may atong i-minus. O, how would you get 1,500? Tabok kas pika. So, 6,000 minus 1,500. So, naka-i-subtract nga 4,500. So, what is this 4,500? This is the asset portion. So, that is 7-6. So, arita sa 7-7. So, 7-7. So, income and liability method. This pertains about rent. So, the period is October 1, 20A to October 1, 20B. So, rent. So, rent will have the income portion and the liability portion. Liability because we are yet to render services. Okay, pre-collection of income man so gibayran ta pero wa pa ta ka-render og service. So for the income portion, meaning that's good for that year. So accounting period ends on December 31. So ang income for that year starts from October 1, 20A until December 31, 20A. While liability starts from January 1, 20B to October 1, 20B. So, how many months? October 1 to December 31. That is a total of 3 months. January to October. That is 9 months. So, pila di ay ang iyang rent? The rent was 180,000. So, what is your first step? Get the monthly rent. So, that is 180,000 divided by 12. You will get So 180, you will have 15,000 per month. So if you want to get pilay income, okay, buwagon man na nato. So 3 months times 15,000, 9 months times 15,000. So 3 times 15, is it 45? So yeah, it's 45,000. So this is the income portion. And 9 times 15, that is 135. So double check if it is equal to 180. So 135 plus 45, that is a total of 180,000. So with this solution, kaya ba nakagpilay income o pilay liability? So ari na ta sa each question. So income method is used. So if it's income method, expect your journal entry uses an income account title. So what should be your account title? Pre-collection. So debit ka cash, 180,000. Credit, income man, income method. So rent income. Number 2. In your adjusting entry, what account will you record? So, naka-record naman tag income, so you will record a liability account title. So, number 3. What is the adjusting entry? So, naka-record na tag income, we need to split that one. Ano man, ang income is only good for 45. Pero ang ato ang gi-record sa original entry is 180. So, there is an excess of 135, which is supposedly the portion of the liability. So, how would you record that one? So, lessen your rent income. So, pila man atong i-minus? Good for the liability portion. So, 135. Credit, unearned, rent income. So, ano siya natupong sa previous. Sa atong tarong sukat class. Okay. It's because of my scrolling pag zoom. Nawa siya maigo. So, this is rent income, 135. Again, I'm particular with the format nga magtupong siya. Because if you have noticed, you are to use the journal entry. The general journal. So, dapat 2 many columns ra gyud na siya. Then number 4, are you increasing or decreasing the rental income? So, it's decreasing because you are transferring that one to your liability account. Okay, so let's go to the liability method. So if you are to use liability method, what entry should you record it? So debit cash 180,000 and unearned rent income 180,000. Number 2. What is in your adjusting entry, what account will you record? So in the original entry, we have used the liability method, naka-record na tag liability. So when we would adjust, we would record the income. What is your adjusting entry? So naka-record naman tag liability, so we have to lessen the liability. We have to record the income, so the income is how much? Good for 45. So unearned rent income is overstated by 45,000, which is good for the income portion. So this is rent income 45,000. Number 4, what is the effect? The rental income account. I mean, in the unearned, if the question is effect on the unearned rental income during using liability method, there is a decreasing effect. But if the question is what is the effect under liability method on the account title of the rent income, so there is an increasing effect. So magdepende gyud og unsay question. So that is for your problem solving in the adjusting entries. So I'll still give you more problems or maanad mo for next meeting. Kay on TTH man tano. So on Thursday next week mo na ato ang prelims. So we still have one meeting to discuss the assignment that will be given today. So that is all. So again, I'll post another set of problems para ma-train mo. So see you next meeting. Thank you and good day.